there, it's Julian, it's Wednesday and we have another recipe. What have we got for you today? Well, I get lots of requests for different types of curry, and we've been doing some vegetarian curries for a little while, and we've done some lower fat recipes, but I've had a lot of requests for fish curry. Now, as you know, most of you, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat fish, but my family do eat fish. They love fish, and we do cook fish curry in this house. So I've got a delicious salmon fish curry for you. Now, you might automatically think when I say salmon that that's not normally a fish that you would associate with curry. You might think of monkfish or something a little bit more firm. However, I was inspired by a restaurant that I visited when I was in Windermere on a short weekend break with my wife. We went in this Indian restaurant that was recommended by the bed and breakfast we were staying with, and back then I was eating fish, and I thought, I wonder if they do a fish curry, and I looked on the menu and they did a salmon fish curry, and I thought, I not normally associate salmon with curry, but this dish, this fish curry, was absolutely delicious. So if you like salmon and you like curry, then you'll like this dish. It is really, really nice. So let's see what we've got in terms of ingredients and what we're going to need. Okay, this recipe will serve 4 people. If you just wanted to make this recipe for 2 people, you could just halve the ingredients. So what we've got is our delicious salmon. Now, you always want to make sure that your salmon, when you buy it, is nice and firm and fresh. It shouldn't smell too much, which is a good indication that it's fresh. And we're going to cook this salmon with the skin on, and then before we serve it, we'll remove the skin. That's generally the best way to cook it. Cook it with the skin on, then remove it just before serving. Now, in terms of where to get your salmon, obviously if you've got a good fishmonger, someone you trust, then that's great. I use an online fish supplier, and I'll leave the link below for you, because it works out very, very economical to do it that way. It's delivered to your door fresh. You don't have to mess about, and the quality of this fish is absolutely top notch. So I'll leave the link below and you can check that out. So we've got 4 fillets of salmon, obviously 1 per person here. We've got 4 tablespoonfuls of extra virgin olive oil, so that just works out a tablespoon per person. We've got 2 heaped tablespoonfuls of freshly chopped garlic. So we're using quite a bit of garlic in this dish, but it's really going to add a lovely delicious flavour to our fish curry. And we have 1.5 tablespoons of freshly chopped ginger, and we have our onions. Now, what we have here in these bowls is 2 very large onions. Just to show you the size, we're dealing with very, very large onions here. The reason we're using so much onion in this dish is because we want a thick, velvety sauce with this fish curry. So the onions are going to give us that thick sauce, that gravy that we're looking for. And we have 3 medium chopped chilies with the seeds in. If you don't want the heat, you just want the flavour, take the seeds out, but we're wanting a little bit of heat with this curry. And we've got some freshly chopped coriander, which is about a good handful that's been chopped quite finely, and that will get added into the curry sauce just at the end of the cooking process. And here we've got 400 millilitres of coconut cream. So you get this in the tin. It's the tin variety that you normally find at your local big supermarket. It comes from Thailand. And this will add amazing flavour and texture to our curry. Coconut milk and coconut products are used extensively in southern Indian cuisines, and interestingly, in southern India they eat more fish than they do meat, and they use a lot of coconut in their fish curries, so we'll be adding that in too. Okay, in terms of the spices that we're going to use for this curry, we've got some mix powder. If you're unsure about what mix powder is, M-I-X powder, just type that into the search bar on my YouTube channel and there's a recipe for it. We have a heaped teaspoon of turmeric. We've got a heaped tablespoon of cumin seeds. We've got a heaped teaspoon of black mustard seeds. We have a few curry leaves, dried curry leaves. This is probably about a tablespoon and a half of dried curry leaves. We have some panj puran, which is a mixed spice. Again, just if you're not too sure about that, I'll spell it for you. P-A-N-C-H. Puran is spelled P-H-O-R-A-N. I think that's right. And this is a mixed spice used in Asian households. That's a little bit like a garam masala really, but in whole spices. You've got fenugreek in there, fennel, and we've got some cardamom and all sorts, and that adds a really lovely aromatic sort of note to the dish. We've got some aniseed, just a couple of ears of aniseed there. That will add a lovely delicious note, particularly works well with fish. Then we've got some salt, that's to taste. We've just got about a teaspoon. We've got some red chili powder, and that's it, and those are our spices. So next to the cooking. Okay, so we've got our oil heating now in the pan, so that's nice and hot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cook our black mustard seeds, cumin, curry leaves, panj puran, and star anise. And what's going to happen is that those spices will infuse into the oil. So we'll just turn that up a little bit because we just turned it down. It was just a bit too hot. And basically what we want to do is get to the point where the black mustard seeds are starting to pop. Those are the hardest seeds to crackle in the oil, and once they're popping we know that everything's working fine, and then we'll come back and we'll add in the onion. Okay, so you can hear that. Can you hear it? Those are the black mustard seeds popping. So now we can add in our onion. And what we're going to do now with these onions, we're going to cook these until they're nice and brown. What we're trying to do is caramelize them to get that really lovely, typical South Asian taste. So we'll come back and we'll show you what they look like once they've cooked. It will take a little while, probably take about 5 to 8 minutes, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, our onions are just about getting there. As you can see, they're nice and brown. I'll sort of hold them up to the camera so you can see. They're not completely dark brown as in the Pakistani rice recipe, but they're sort of in between, almost there, and you can smell them. They've got a much sweeter flavour once they've caramelised enough, and that's about where we want them. So we're going to put our ginger in. Our garlic, and our chilies. And what we'll do is we'll just stir that in with the onions and the whole spices and just cook them a little bit. We'll turn the heat up a bit. We've had it quite low, about halfway. We'll just turn it up a little bit just to cook that garlic, cook the rawness out of it and the ginger. And then we'll go in with the rest of our spices. So we've got our turmeric, our mixed powder, a chili, and our salt as well. Now things are starting to smell really good, so we'll toast those spices in with the rest of the mixture. Probably going to cook this now for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to add a bit of hot water there just to add a little bit of a liquid base before we go in with our coconut cream. So we'll come back in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're just going to add in now, a couple of minutes later, a little bit of hot water, not much, about 1/3 of a cup. This will just help create a nice bit of sauce. Depending on how thick you want it, you can add a little bit more, but we can sort of adjust that at the end. And then next we're going to go in with our coconut cream. And we'll just give that a stir in. And we just want to return that to a simmer stroke boil. Once we've got there, we'll then add in our fish, which is a sort of final cooking stage. So we'll come back to that once that's ready. Okay, so it's nicely boiling away there. So I'm just going to do a little taste test just to check for seasoning before we add the fish. That's tasting great. But what I'm going to do is my usual little chef's trick, which is to add a little bit of sugar, which will just balance all those spices out and everything just nicely. So a heaped teaspoonful of sugar will do the trick. I use brown demerara sugar, not white. And just turn that in, and that's just coming on great. Now we can add our fish in, and we're going to add the fish just straight in to the liquid, flesh side down. Just about fit the four in this pot. You're going to need to cook with a fairly large pot there, or frying pan, depending on what you're using. And I'm going to cook that now probably for about 3 or 4 minutes. Now if you like salmon to be pink, then you might want to cook it a little bit less, but if you want it cooked a bit more thoroughly, cook it for longer. All you need to do really is just to put your fork in. We'll do the little fork test toward the end, just to check that our salmon is cooked all the way through. So we'll come back to that in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, it was just a few minutes later. We actually put a lid on just so that all our liquid doesn't evaporate. And just feeling this now, they're not too soft, they're nice and firm, so that's telling me that they're cooked. As I said, we can just do the fork test. So simply just take one of your fillets like that and just look inside it there. See, that's just a little bit pink in the middle still there, so I'm just going to cook that a little bit longer, because it'll all depend, as I say, on the thickness of the fillet and the temperature that you're cooking at. So we're just going to leave that a little bit longer. But again, if you like it a little bit pink, you might decide at this stage to have it as it is. So we'll come back to that just in a couple of moments. Okay, we're going to take another look. And you can see there now it's lost that pinkness, which is about right. So we're going to add in our coriander, and this just makes the dish look so attractive. Not only is it adding fantastic flavour, because coriander works really well with fish dishes, but it looks fantastic as well, so it really appeals to the eye. So just turn everything over. As you can see, this is a thicker sauce, which is how this curry is presented, this style of curry. There is not a huge amount of sauce, but there is enough. If you wanted it a bit runnier, you could add a little bit of water, but I wouldn't, to be honest with you. I'd be tempted not to do that, because it's just perfect as it is. So there it is. We'll serve that up and do the taste test. So there we have it. I don't know about you, but that looks delicious. And just a little bit more fresh coriander, just for serving presentation, and we'll just taste that and see how it tastes. Okay, let's do our taste test and see how it tastes. That is so good. You can taste the mustard seeds, the coconut and the fish. They go so well together. And those whole spices, you can really detect the notes from the different spices, particularly the panch paran. When you use whole spices in South Asian cuisine, you really get a symphony of flavours going on in the mouth. This is quite different from the BIR style of curry. I love it. To be honest with you, I prefer the home style curry cooking any day of the week, even though I do love, obviously, the British Indian restaurant style curry too. They are very different, but this is just phenomenal. And I don't even eat fish. this tastes great. The sauce is delicious. As I say, coconut goes so well with fish. You've really got to try this one if you like fish, or if you're if you like your meat curries. Why don't you just try something a little bit different? I'm sure you'll enjoy this. One more try before I put the plate down. Fantastic. So I hope you get great results cooking that fish curry, especially for all of those who'd requested fish curry recipes. I'll certainly do some more for you. And if you've got any particular other curry recipes you'd like, certainly post your comments below the video and I'll do my very best to try and do a recipe to your liking. So if this is the first time you've found this channel, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to post them beneath the video. I'll do my best to answer them. Can't always answer every one, but I'll certainly do my best, and I'll look out for those particular requests as well. I do aim to do videos regularly. I've been doing one a week for a little while. Over the next few weeks I won't be able to do one every week because I've got other commitments, but I certainly will be doing one every 2 weeks for the next for the foreseeable future. So stay tuned to this channel for more recipes. So thanks for watching and see you again soon.